So here are some pool noodle exercises I'm doing. So on top of the videos I'm going to show you, these are a great exercise to do outdoor. So I'm just kind of flicking it around, back and forth the other way. Try not to drop it, and of course if they drop it, encourage them just to keep going. Always use different hands, left and right. It'll really coordinate their brain for all sorts of sports. Receiving the ball from left and right in camogie and football, learning to do things on the opposite side. So that's that one. Just doing some backspin, learning to use their wrist, flicking, catching. So you're flicking it back this way. With the spin, learning to use spin with the noodle. And even forward spin, going the opposite way. These might seem small things, but they're actually important. They're learning how to use spins, which is important in tennis, of course. So we just vary them. If a child is struggling with things, just try to encourage them to do it a bit slower. Take a little bit of time with them. If a child is enjoying one, don't be moving on so fast. Let them enjoy the fun of doing these. Some of them they love doing, so I let them do that. My left hand is turning this around, catching with my right. My left hand is turning this around, now catching with my left. So it goes from left back to left. I'm going to try and do a full spin and catch. Hit the roof there, or the ceiling I should say. So, and again, the right side, full spin and catch. They're great fun, but you just need to learn these off, and you could do a whole half an hour with these in the yard with them. Try and double spin. Try and double spin with the left. Was that a double spin? Not sure. So they're good fun. Here's one where you just hit down onto the floor. So if you bang it down, it'll come back here. So you got to try and bang it down onto the top, and then it pops up. Try and catch it. There again. Right hand, of course. Left hand. It's good fun. And they're learning a skill here. It's very good for reaction. You've got to react really fast to catch it. And always get your children to adopt a good ready position, a good physical ready position. That they're in this athletic position to move out fast, because that's what sport really is all about. So always try and get them to adapt this position, knee bending on the balls of their feet, like this. And when we're doing the footwork drills, we always want the kids running like this, down low, knees bent. These are some nice skills, if I can master them. So again, just some simple ones around your back. Always go the opposite way as usual. Under the leg. Try and get them into a hopping movement. They'll get better and better at these, and they'll find them easy after a while. Here's a little balance, little bean bag. I only seem to have 3 or 4 of these, so if anyone has other little bean bags at home they can use, it'd be great. So I'm simply going to just try and flick this bean bag back, but very slowly, keeping it on this half noodle size. There's a full noodle I'll use in a minute. Ooh, nearly fell off there, so I had to adjust the bean bag. And of course the idea is to get it right down to the end. Or one hand, which is harder. And once it gets to the end, then just catch. Even that's a skill in itself, I suppose. There's a slightly bigger beanbag here. Again, now the kids might struggle with this, so you've got to encourage them and let them take their time. They can't really cheat and do this. So try and bring their hand down a bit so that it becomes a bit of a challenge. And slowly, all the way down to the end. And catch. I had these little bits of a noodle cut off, so this is even harder now because it's a lot more unstable on the noodle, so it's really small movements, really small movements to bring this down. And to avoid them picking it up all the time, maybe have their hand underneath and have one hand. No, using one hand is a big challenge, but they can of course use two if they find it easier. And they love all these little challenges that turn to the side here, so I gotta try and bring it back a bit. And again, don't forget to always change sides. Even halfway down is a great challenge. You're trying to coordinate the child. So these are, I suppose, fine motor skills. Gross motor skills are bigger movements. So agility, balance, coordination, reaction time, speed, power, they're fundamental movement skills. Come all the way down. You can't touch the red little noodle here, obviously. All the way to the end. So they're good fun. You then maybe you can put the small little noodle or the small beanbag on top and simply just flick up and catch, adopting that athletic position again. So all good fun with the noodles, and you know what I'm going to next, don't you? Have a hand. You could even go a lot higher, and you can bring in things like if they want to go really high and spin around and catch. I can't hear, the ceiling's very low. So there's some great skills up here. Just balance it, flick it up and catch. Even with the small one, the little noodly things. I'll have all these equipment anyway, you can just ask me. And kind of float down a bit easier. Other hand, just flick it up and catch. Can they flick it up and then tap it up and catch? Flick up, tap up, catch. A little bit trickier. Secret is not to tap it up and do a wild swing, just let the noodle kind of tip off the top of it. I do that with my right hand. Tip, catch. We have the long noodles. These are much, oh yeah, just one last one then with the small noodle. You could do a little balancing game on your head, which I find difficult because I don't have any hair to catch the noodle. So get on you bugger. So they should find it easier with their hair, should be catching the noodle. And see, can they just balance it for a while and maybe go down like that and keep it in a balanced position. Much longer noodle. Actually, I just forgot with the small noodle as well. They can simply bounce. These are on the other noodle videos as well and catch. This is great for reaction. So can you imagine a 6-year-old now adopting this position, noodle in front, bouncing and catching like that. So you can see it doesn't bounce easily sometimes. Get them always into that athletic position. I'm real butterfingers this morning. Right hand, left hand, always get them to change. And then the long one can be a bit of a challenge with the beanbag, but it's a bit of fun. Much longer, and it starts to bend because of the weight of the beanbag. But again, they love these challenges. I'm simply just trying to gradually move it down, the noodle. Oops, that fell. But that's that one. And as I said, if they love doing them, just leave them do it. You don't have to just move everybody on. If a child says, oh, I really enjoyed this one, let them at it. Let them do their own different ones at different times. You don't have to follow instruction all the time. Gradually moving it all the way down, which is good fun and a challenge. And this is going to help like camogie, hurling, tennis, because they're learning to do unusual balancing exercises, which will obviously enhance these skills all the way to the end. If they get really good, they can just speed it up. Some will try and just shake the noodle, others will just kind of flick it like that and slowly come down. And having to turn it constantly because it's going off to the side. So these are great challenges for the children. And again, you can put the top of that there. Just that athletic position and catch. You move like that. Small noodle and a big noodle. Flick it up, catch. Again, flick up, tap, catch. If I can catch it. So I think that's what I wanted to cover there. I just thought of one that's probably impossible, but can you balance a half noodle on a large noodle? Hardly, maybe halfway down you can. You can make up your own as time goes on. There you go. So a great skill to have, and again I'm trying having to slightly move. Now the way I'm putting out my non-playing hand here is because it balances my body, so I always try to get the child to avoid doing that, but more of a balancing action with their arms and legs. Now this looks like an athlete. Don't like that. Well, maybe I don't look like an athlete, but other hand. Again, balancing. These are all good skills you can use for going into your college to do PE classes. I can give you a load of these stuff. If you ever need to do a presentation on fundamental movement skills, I can just give you some exercises and you can practice them in front of a camera. And obviously you need to be able to do these before you practice in front of your classes. So I think Sorika and Emily Marion, I think are you going to be primary school teachers, I think he mentioned. So these are all great stuff that your teacher will be very impressed with. And Mary I, again, can you roll it? Ooh. Yeah, so that's actually a new one I just made up there. So just rolling it off and then catching. So these are tons you can think of yourself, so they're good exercises to do. Not to mention the ones where you have a balloon with the noodle. Various ones like that. I'm doing balloon left hand, right hand, tapping down, right hand. Again, no, this mightn't work outdoors because it could be windy. So if it's not windy, this should be okay to bring the balloons out. Kids love all these things. If they had any wall to go by, they could just tap against the wall. They could do it. They could do these things in pairs. They're great fun. They could even try and hit. A balloon to each other. So there's two balloons. We're keeping two up at the same time. You can simply just balance the balloon on the noodle. Again, enhancing camogie and hurling, sports like that. Adapt that, athletic position, etc. And there you go. Look, it just goes on forever. There's tons you can do. So we ask you to use your initiative there as well. So thanks, guys.